Hi, let me talk today about something that makes us human. And what is that? It is stories. And I will be talking about storification because there is only one thing which is common across all human civilizations, across geographies, across time, and that is stories. Right from the time that we were hunter gatherers living in caves, we used to come back from a hunt, make all these cave paintings telling the story of the hunt, maybe teaching the youngsters. And the stories still work with human beings, which is why most ads are in the form of stories. Even when you're raising money for a good cause, let us say, if you are told that 5 lakh children in this district are malnourished, you are unlikely to give money right away. But if you see this story or even read about the story about this one little girl with 3 siblings with not enough to eat, you are more likely to donate to that charity. So when even human fund managers are selling, so to say, their fund to investors, stories work. So if they say that we want to invest in this company because it has great brands, because it understands the consumer very well, it has great logistics, blah blah blah, the person on the other side will get convinced. Now, but the problem is that the market is not a human being. The market doesn't care how well your stories are crafted. So this is something to remember. The other thing is, stories to be good have to be simple. There is a cause, effect, ending, but human lives are complex and investing is extremely complex. If you look at a company, there are literally hundreds of parameters, and not just financial parameters. Things change, that what the company does, how the consumer behaves, what its competitor does, all these will change outcomes. But we want a simple story. So that's at variance with the real world. Another thing which is at variance is that stories have to be deterministic. They have to have a beginning, middle, and end, a specific end, whereas life is only about probabilities. You would not like a story which ends saying that, let's say, if you watch a movie and it ends saying a 60% probability that the hero and heroine get married, 30% probability that they get married to other people, and 10% probability that they don't get married at all. That's not a satisfying story. So that is the thing. Whereas in life, if you're looking at whether anything in life and specifically investing, you know that there can be many possible paths, many possible outcomes with different probabilities attached to them. So that is the thing. Then another very important thing about stories, now we're talking about stories convincing the person on the other side, but what also happens is that the storyteller, the person who's repeating this story again and again, ultimately also buys into the story. They also start to believe the story, and the best amongst us can fall prey to that. You look at Warren Buffett. He's been, so to say, selling this Coke story for a long time, that how it's a great brand, cash cow, etc., and why he has bought it, and he's held it a long time. But now this is the interesting thing. In the last 30 years, Coke has gone up only 12 times, when Pepsi has gone up almost 20 times, and let alone that, the S&P 500 has itself gone up 16 and a half times in this period. Being invested in Coke has been a negative for the portfolio, because that has caused underperformance, and not over a short period, but over 30 years. So this is how stories can mislead you. And as I said, this is very hardwired into us as a human being to respond to stories. So therefore, you have to consciously move away from that and make yourself look at data, make yourself look at statistics. It does not come naturally to us as human beings. And that is why it's called a bias, a storification bias. So I hope that helped.